Here we are, the 8th film of the TCM Classic Film Festival, celebrating its 30th anniversary. We have 1994's Little Women, released by Columbia Pictures, technically the third film adaptation of the classic Louisa May Alcott novel. Without counting the miniseries in 1978, this adaptation has been often regarded as the best adaptation of the beloved novel, and in all honesty, folks, I certainly agree. That is certainly not a discredit to the other film adaptations, because every film adaptation is utterly beautiful and terrifically acted. But this film adaptation, more than anything, really captures the powerful and, of course, endearing essence of the book more than the previous films. And as much as I did enjoy Gerwig's adaptation, you feel like, after this significant film, why remake it, Greta Gerwig? I understand completely the argument to remake a classic for the current audience, but also, one, this 1994 classic feels just as modern if any Gen Z would watch it in 2018, and two, introduce the classics to the new modern audiences, because there is something already significant about original films. Don't just remake them, show the original if it's already good. That's why I have this channel, folks. It's all about the classics. Anyway, don't get me started. This presentation was introduced with a lovely Q&A with quite a bit of the cast, featuring Trini Alvarado, who plays Meg. Man, what happened to you, Trini? We loved you. Come back to more films, won't ya? Samantha Mathis, who plays older Amy, and same thing, Samantha. Come back to more films. Eric Stoltz, who plays John Brooke. You got a pretty good career, don't you, Eric? And Robin Swickcord, the screenwriter for this adaptation, whose biggest contribution to film up to the point of Little Women was co-writing Shag. So it's quite amazing to see how Robin's flair and beauty for writing were really set free. The Q&A was fantastic and really insightful, for Robin told the story of how this was conceived with producer Amy Pascal and Denise Denovi, basically taking 12 years of development, for the male-ran studios always believed there is no audience for a movie about a bunch of women. How sexist! But apparently the studios relented after a lovely script was penned by Robin and the confirmation of WinonaRyder playing the lead, Jo March, which was no problem at all. Director Gillian Armstrong turned down the offer of directing multiple times because she felt apparently it was too similar to her first feature film, My Brilliant Career, which is a fantastic film. But no, it's very different, and Gillian was convinced after reviewing the more mature themes of feminism being featured in this adaptation. Thank God she said yes, because quite frankly, the film most likely wouldn't be as strong with a male director, especially for this story. And she assembles a perfect cast, a perfect March family, if you will, with WinonaRyder giving one, if not her best performance on film so far, as Jo, earning her an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. She embodies everything that Jo was, with confidence, creativity, rambunctiousness, ambition, and longing. Trini Alvarado is so fittingly lovely as Meg, the eldest, who just wants happiness and has a quiet intensity of progression for her life, and you almost feel bad that there is not more on the horizon for her. But maybe there is when you become a mother, and the adventure is still there, and it's not settling down. Claire Danes in her film debut is just endearingly wonderful as Beth, the piano-playing shy and sweet sister that everyone loved, that every time we watch her succumb to, well, you know if you've seen it. If you haven't, no spoilers, but I weep every time. Now, the casting of a young 12-year-old Kirsten Dunst as young Amy and then Samantha Mathis as older Amy was done very wisely, for it has always been done to have one actress play the same role at all times, which was always weird, a suspension of belief for sure. But here, we could buy into it, and I love the story that Samantha Mathis told that Kirsten got her hair cut with those awkward bangs, so Samantha was forced to get her hair cut like that too, which was not quite flattering, but hey, it still works. Kirsten Dunst definitely steals the show as Amy, which very much so propels a fantastic career for Kirsten in the future. And Samantha is definitely lovely as Amy, that you can see her maturity grow over time. SusanSarandon as Marmee, utterly perfect, encapsulates everything about Marmee that you envision a loving mother of these March women. But hey, a 19-year-old Christian Bale playing Laurie, who was perfectly cast as well, at his perfect heartthrob timing with enough energy to match Winona in their scenes together. Eric Stoltz is quietly giving as John Brooke, and yeah, the character really has nothing to do except be an average nobody who marries Meg, but Eric Stoltz definitely captures him beautifully. And then, of course, Mary Wickes. Oh, classic Aunt Josephine. She is just perfect. Gabriel Byrne is wonderful as Friedrich. The great John Neville as Mr. Lawrence, quite smashing. And filming on location in Vancouver adds to its beauteous atmosphere, even though it was summer, apparently, and here they were wearing wool, of all things. Oh, don't I feel that? Brilliant costume designer Colleen Atwood received her first Oscar nomination for her costume design. First of 12 in her career so far, later winning 4 of them. And she delved into such detail for every sister's clothing, which was always accurate and trading off with each other. So a lot of those same costume pieces and patterns are mixed in everywhere within the sisters, that it creates even more closeness. And she had to work even harder to make sure all of it read so well with the camera lighting. I mean, that's why she is who she is now. Utterly brilliant. The production design is gorgeous as well, devoting heavily to the original 1933 adaptation to model it after the Orchard House in Concord, Massachusetts, Alcott's own home. Thomas Newman's Oscar-nominated score is lusciously exquisite, and it still is such a freaking crime that this genius has not won an Oscar yet for his work. The man is a freaking legend at this point. Anyway, everything about this film warms the spirit and was honestly released at the right time of Christmas in 1994, for it gave in to more of the Christmas spirit. And Louisa May's writing is still such a powerful and beloved piece that it is equally, if not more so, iconic than that of Mark Twain's Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. Obviously, I hold this film in a nice, special place, for my older sister grew up with this picture, and evidently, I would grow up with it as well. For what has been fed to my sister with pop culture would be handed down and funneled onto me. And every time I look at this picture, I always remember that nostalgic, warm-hearted embracement of love, family, women of strength, and freedom. I remember those days my sister and I would watch this together, and days where we would watch this with my mom. And it's always memories like those that we should always cherish. It's a beautiful picture that certainly has its slow-moving parts, let's be honest, but it's always a film that you can have on, and you always find yourself smiling at every moment, just by accident. So all in all, folks, I give 1994's Little Women an A. A harmoniously perfect film it was for us to end day 3. And so I ask you lovely people, what do you think of Little Women from 1994? Or what is your favorite adaptation of Louisa May Alcott's classic story? Please listen in the comments, click like if you like this, share with your friends to get the word out on the channel. If you could, please, greatly appreciate your support, and stay tuned for the last 4 pictures of the festival I will be reviewing. Oh my God! But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and remember to tell your families how much you love them.